Hi everybody, LG here, and welcome to r/relationships. This one's from user awaythrow x1x. My beloved wife cheated on me and my daughter isn't mine. How can I move forward as well as shake angry feelings? This is gonna be a long one. My wife and I were married for 21 years. I figured it was one of those miracle marriages because we barely argued. Seemed like we always be the best of friends, etc. Well, our 15-year-old daughter received a 23andMe thing for her birthday from a friend. And of course, it said we weren't related. She had me do a swab as well as her mother and her 14-year-old brother. Only her brother and I seemed to be related. So I did a paternity test afterwards, and lo and behold, she wasn't my effing child. My wife cried and pleaded for me to hear her out, but I just went numb to her. It would be one thing to cheat, but to find out the light of my life isn't even related to me killed me. Don't get me wrong, I love my daughter with all my heart. She's still my daughter, no matter what. But what's scaring me the most is my seemingly vindictive desires. I've never been like this, and I know it's out of anger, but I want her to suffer so bad. The kids absolutely hate her, which on one end helps that desire, but I know that deep down she is still their mother, and I don't really want them to hate her. Her parents and siblings are all mortified at her. Her sister hasn't spoken to her in a couple of months. We all grew up together, so it hit hard for everyone. Again, this makes me feel great, which in turn scares me, because I don't actually want her life to go into shambles. But I can't help feel euphoric when I learn something in her life is falling apart. Both children are living with me, as they don't view their mother in a favorable light at all right now. I'm thinking about having the talk about them going to talk to her, because as of now, they refuse. The part that breaks my heart the most is that my daughter seems to be overcompensating her roles of a daughter. She makes sure to tell me how much she loves me, and is, in essence, being the perfect daughter. But I can tell it's because she knows that she isn't biologically mine. But she desperately wants me to know how much she values me. I'm actually going to talk to her tonight about that, to tell her that she doesn't have to act differently. I just really want to know how to shake the sadness and angry, vindictive feelings. I want to move forward as well as help my children move forward so they can worry about school and being teens. Please, any advice will help. Wow, OP, what you're going through is a huge betrayal. Huge. And of course, what you and your daughter are going through, and your son as well, of course, is incredibly sad. It's your whole reality being torn apart and you figure out you've been living a lie. I would say that what you're feeling is absolutely normal because you've been hurt really bad. I do believe that in time you'll be able to work through these feelings with the proper help and move forward. What I'm more concerned about at the moment is how your daughter might be feeling. And you're right, you need to talk to her and tell her that this changes nothing, that you are not going to love her differently or look at her differently, that she is still your daughter, the one that you raised, the one that you have so many beautiful memories with. That's her, and you need to make her feel safe with you. Of course, OP asked for the advice from the community, so let's move on to the community comments to see what they had to say about this. Jack Crow says, "This situation is way above Reddit's pay grade. You and your children need therapy as soon as possible. Having said that, let me offer a few pointers from my own experience. Kids don't care about biology. Your daughter will always see you as her father. I love my 2 stepdaughters as much as my 2 biological daughters. Full stop. But she might be worried about you leaving, as I'm sure she's picking up on the anger you have towards her mother. She might be wishing she could never see her mother again, and then making the jump to assuming you are having similar thoughts, and now could act on them as she isn't your daughter. You absolutely need to reassure her that you are in that dad-daughter relationship with her for the long haul. You need to channel that anger to something productive, or at least not needlessly destructive. Needful destruction could be finally demolishing that old garden wall that's been sitting there for 10 years. Assuming you're in the States, my understanding is that 14 is the age at which most courts will start to take the child's opinion under consideration. You should be consulting with your lawyer, You have one, right? About how you should be handling the children in regards to seeing their mother. In my opinion, you should be assuring the children that if they want to see their mother, that you will understand and not hold it against them, as you shouldn't. Stay strong and channel that anger into something productive. Get therapy. Talk to other infidelity survivors. Don't drink to excess. Start working out if you don't already. Do stuff with the kids. At the same time, that's how the hurt and anger go away. You just have to distract yourself until enough time has passed. Good luck. Cthulhu Almighty says, please don't force your teenage kids to interact with their mother. As a child whose father forced him to see his mother, I hated them both for it. I understood why, but it didn't change how I felt. Just like you, your kids need time to process this. OK Karma in 1992 says, I don't necessarily think that anger is harmful as long as it doesn't push you to bad decisions. You should be angry, and that anger will get you through the early part. It will be replaced soon enough. And your children should be angry at her as well. They have grown up with a liar. They may or may not come to hate her. My mother's infidelity in my teens has remained with me for 40 years now. I have no use for her, and she can die alone when time comes. Sorry you have joined us in this club, but there are good and helpful people here. Well, it sounds like OP got some pretty solid advice from the community. A very thorough one from a parent perspective, and also very important one from a child of cheating perspective, like the last commenter said. Overall, pretty solid information like I said. So how about we move on with the update to see what OP has done. For some clarification, we did talk about it and it was in the affair. I just didn't want to write that part out because it physically makes me shake with anger to talk about it. My daughter and I are both in therapy. I am taking the advice of my therapist and the many commenters on my last post, and I'm not going to force my kids to talk to their mother. They are old enough to understand the gravity of the situation and have their own feelings about it. Because of this, they will need to take their own time gathering up how they feel in dealing with it, with any help they need from me, of course. The pain my daughter is going through seems to have healed somewhat. I've gotten her to fully believe that my love for her will never change and that she will always be my daughter. Her pain seems not to be about our relationship anymore, but her newly found trust issues and trauma from the family being broken apart. She's also confided in me that she feels like it's all her fault, and that if she never brought the kid home, the family would still be together. I hugged her and let her know that none of this was her fault, and that she was only looking to do something fun with the family. She had no idea what would happen, and that she should never blame herself. I've had one conversation with my soon-to-be ex-wife, in which she begged and pleaded me to forgive her and that she would cherish me for the rest of her life. She said it was stupid, it meant nothing, and that she regrets it 100%. She also said that she believes our love can withstand it. I told her that if our love was that strong, she wouldn't have felt the need to find sexual comfort in someone else. She is currently staying with her parents. I've communicated with her sister, and apparently she's borderline suicidal. They are trying to get her help, but she refuses, as the only thing she wants to do is see me and the children. Because of this, I'm waiting to serve her the divorce papers. I don't want to add on any more things to destroy her mental health. I've brought up talking to her with my son and daughter, to which they adamantly refused. I'm going to respect their wishes and give them their own time to cope. I have this nagging feeling that she does not actually care about how it made any of us feel, and that she only cares about the fact that she's about to lose her picture-perfect family and the comfortable life that we had, and that it's her fault. I have no desire to try to fix the relationship and move forward. That's all for now. Well, it sounds to me like even though OP and his family are hurting, he's doing right by them, his kids, and himself. He's going through with divorce and he doesn't want to try reconciliation at all. He's not going to force the kids to have a relationship with their mother if they don't want to. And best of all, he stood strong and really didn't take any of that bullcrap that cheaters give you when they say it was stupid, it meant nothing, and they regret it 100%, blah blah blah. So it does seem like the road ahead for OP and his kids might be a long one, but I think they're going on the right path. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and in the meantime, let's continue with the next story. This one's from user Food Guy. My friend is getting scammed. How can I help her understand? I have been dealing with this issue for 2 full days and I'm exhausted. Long story short, I have a very simple-minded friend. She's 32, but probably has the IQ of a 12-year-old. Not being mean, I just need help dealing with the situation and I need to tell it as it is. She is in the middle of a sweetheart scam, and they have scammed her of a huge amount of money she doesn't have. It's basically her dad's money that was meant to pay rent and emergency bills. The scammers got her to download a sketchy app where she deposited the money despite getting warning messages from the bank that the receiver's information is sketchy and likely to be a scam. She okayed the transaction despite the bank warning. She's in love with this guy she met a few months ago, has seen one picture of him, and they have never FaceTimed. One time she went to his city, long distance relationship, to visit him. They planned to meet up. However, when that day came, he was too busy with work to meet up. Surprise, surprise. She still believes this guy. Trust me that I am 100% sure she is being scammed. The problem is, how do I break it to her? Somehow, I became the most competent person in dealing with this issue. I am looking for advice on how to approach this situation to her. So far, I have already mentioned to her that she was being scammed. It was 2 days ago when I first learned about it when she called me. She explained the situation to me, and as she was doing so, I said it sounds like a textbook scam. She didn't really have any response, and tends to withdraw like a deer in headlights whenever I mention the word scam. I briefly talked to her today with a different approach. I asked her how much she trusts me, her dad, her brother, and her boyfriend. She trusts us, but she said she doesn't know how to answer when I asked about trusting her boyfriend. I didn't press further. I asked a similar question. Would your dad ever hurt you? No. Your brother? No. Me? No. Would your boyfriend ever hurt you? I don't know how to answer that. I didn't press further. In hindsight, it sounds like an interrogation. I felt like this was a bad approach. So, I changed it up by asking things in a lighter, fun tone, like, do you like him a lot? Somewhat. Is he handsome? I don't know. I don't care about looks. Have you asked for his picture? Of course not. How can I ask him that? I told her that if my girlfriend never asks me for a picture, it's a sign she isn't interested in me. She said that makes sense, and she never thought about it that way. Essentially, I'm discreetly trying to get her to become suspicious of why this guy never shows what he looks like to her. I wonder if this is the right approach. The other approach is just to tell her it's a scam and show her all the evidence I have collected, and link her to articles about these scams she's in. I felt like that approach would be worse. I am not a professional, just a normal average dude who went through some therapy, so I have some empathy for her. I'm trying to ease her into the truth rather than just dump it all on her at once. I need advice on how to move forward. Well, OP, I'm gonna start by saying that you sound like a really good friend that is genuinely trying to help her out. This situation sucks. I mean, this is clearly somebody that's getting scammed. She knows nothing about this person, is in love, and sending them money. If it was me, I would do 2 things. 1, keep on the approach that you're going through and helping her realize by herself that this is a scam. And 2, which may sound harsh because she is a 32-year-old adult, would be to make sure that any further transaction that she wants to make has to have her dad's approval on it. In this sense, I would say that it's kind of difficult to trust her with this responsibility if she has no idea about who this person is and is just sending them money that isn't even hers, it's her dad's money. What about you guys? What do you think OP should do? And while you think about that, let's take a look at the community comments to see what kind of advice they gave OP. Realistic Grocery 1 says, it sounds like your friend needs a guardian, to be honest, to manage her finances. Even if you get her out of it this time, the world is full of scammers looking to separate people like your friend from their money. Karina Supercool says, this is a very tricky situation. You can keep pushing her and try to get her to see the truth, but there is also the risk that she'll double down and trust him even more because he's the only one who understands their love. If she is spending her father's money, he needs to cut her off. If the money is for rent, he should pay the landlord directly and not give the money to her. She's a grown woman, but if you're correct and she's intellectually impaired and won't see or accept the scam, the people around her must step in to stop enabling the situation. If the money dries up, the scammer will get impatient and will probably become more desperate and nasty, and maybe then she'll see that he isn't a good guy. Posey290 says, honestly, I think you are taking the right approach given her mental age. I think you just need to keep asking questions, but I think you need to include some leading questions rather than just yes or no responses. Ask her things like, how do you think a boyfriend should treat his girlfriend? Does he treat you that way? What do you want out of a relationship? Does he give you what you need? What is a healthy relationship? Give her a chance to evaluate this situation without being made to feel stupid. Let her find her own conclusion and support her when she finally reaches it. Scammers feed these kinds of people the idea that it's them against a world that wants to rip them apart. To the fix is not being actively against the scammer and getting the victim to figure it out on their own. Of course, making sure she's cut off from any money, change banking passwords, etc. is important. But as far as growing from this experience and not doing it again, she's going to have to learn that on her own. OP's edit. I have skimmed through most of the comments. 100 plus is a lot to read on little time. Thanks for all the help. Some things to point out. Many have noted some kind of adult protection service. I think this is the path their family needs to go through. Regarding her mental capacity, I mentioned she has a low IQ because of this incident and just from general contact with her. She is just simple-minded. I am not aware of her being diagnosed with any mental disability or taking an IQ test that shows she has low IQ, so my comment was more of an observation. Well, I think OP got some pretty solid advice, so the path forward should be quite clear. I'll keep an eye out on this story to see if we have any updates soon. And we've reached the end of the video. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please go ahead and give us a like. It really helps out the video and the channel in general. Of course, if you still haven't become part of this community, go ahead and click subscribe. And if you want to keep engaging with people in the community because they're awesome, you can always join us in the Discord server. There's a link in the description down below, along with other links that you might find interesting. And I want to finish up by thanking you all for watching this video and getting up to here. It really means a lot to me, all the support that I've gotten from you guys. It's fantastic. I love it. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys in the next video.